Hi everyone, this is Jordan Nanos from Semi-Analysis. I'm here with Patrick Wohlschlegel from Radiant, the newly launched NeoCloud. Uh, yeah, welcome.
Well, thank you. Very happy to be here. Yeah,
Awesome. So why don't we start with a little intro? Just tell everybody where you're from and yeah, what's new with Radiant. It's brand new, right?
yeah, it is brand new. It's been announced only a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I'm Patrick. I'm an engineer at heart. I've been doing high performance computing for the past part of 15 years. And yeah, I joined the Radiant adventure about 2 years ago before it got announced as looking after the infrastructure. So basically deploying um, supercomputers, bringing them to production and operating them. And today I'm at Radiant. I'm the head of infrastructure. So I'm looking after the infrastructure roadmap and procurement and things like that. So yeah.
Awesome. So talk me through the infrastructure roadmap a little bit. I know you guys have big plans. There's, existing sites, but you're expanding globally.
Mhm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, yes, we obviously we basically Radiant is a new venture, right? It's built around four key pillars. The software platform is one. The compute is very important because this is the underlying infrastructure that we're bringing to market. We've got access to land, we've got access to a lot of capital in order to execute. And our infrastructure goal roadmap is really global, right? So we've got multiple sites available to us that represent several hundreds of megawatts. And we're looking to fill these sites with the latest NVIDIA architecture. So being here at GTC is really good because we get to see the technology very very closely, right? We get to see what's coming up, the Vera Rubin for architecture and these kind of things. And also, looking at all these providers doing all the ancillary equipment and CDUs. So combining all these technologies is really nice, and very much looking forward to deploying these new clusters globally.
Awesome. Yeah. So what do you think is, I guess, the key constraint? You said you got four key pillars. Is there things that you think you'll have to be working on over the course of this year, next year, as you guys try to expand?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're working on all angles, right? Our software platform is, we've got an engineering team that keeps developing and bringing new capabilities in that. The infrastructure, building the new designs, getting ready for what's coming is also a very important angle. And I think that one of the key constraints until the Radiant announcement, right, was access to land, access to power, and the capital to deploy this. So as the ability for us to merge with Brookfield is incredibly exciting because that resolves that problem, right? And we now can basically take greenfield sites with planning permission. We've got the power plants in order to supply the energy, which is one of the key bottlenecks in the industry. And we can now build these data centers and bring this infrastructure to market. In record times. In about 12 months, we can go from a field to a fully productive AI environment delivering services. So it's incredibly exciting, and yeah.
Can you talk me through maybe the Brookfield portfolio across how that helps? I know, you know, going from greenfield or dirt to data center requires many, many different
Yeah.
organizations to contribute something. Um, Equipment, like you said, permitting. Are there, special things that you're doing with the Brookfield portfolio there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the key aspects, that Brookfield bringing in this merger, right? So we are part of the Brookfield AI Fund, which has quite a lot of companies, and I couldn't name them all, right? But we're obviously looking to partner with these companies. We are also looking to partner with a number of data centers that are also owned and operating with Brookfield. Which means that we can start talking to them now about the future capacity that they're going to bring online in the next 24 36 months, and basically design these environments for the upcoming infrastructure that is being rolled up by NVIDIA. I mean, we've had discussions about GPU racks of 400 kilowatt as soon as January next year, right? And all the data centers need to be ready to be able to accept these new infrastructure. So being able to collaborate with these players that are part of the Brookfield portfolio puts us in a really unique position in order to execute on that.
Yeah. How about the sites themselves? Let's talk about maybe power for a second. Um, the big discussions this week at GTC is the difference between grid connected versus behind the meter power generation. Do you guys have preferences there, or are there ways in which you can move faster versus, have more durable sites over time that you're thinking about?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think that connection to the grid is definitely one aspect, but I think that it can be slower, right? And Brookfield brings that ability to get behind the meter power generation. And when we're looking at these new sites, we're definitely looking about how we're going to bring that infrastructure, how we're going to get that energy. So yeah, I think that we've got all the cards right at the moment. So yeah, it's exciting.
Okay, cool. Maybe can you talk a little bit about talent? You guys are obviously bringing a lot of talent at the software layer. Um, what does that look like maybe across the stack when it comes to actually providing a service to an end user that's going to come in, be a tenant at one of these sites, be that off taker that people keep talking about?
Whew, broad question. So yeah, I mean, our software stack is very comprehensive, right? I mean, we've got a team dedicated on the lower level platform, which is basically the ability to take this bare metal infrastructure and turn it into compute, be it bare metal services or virtual machine or Kubernetes environment. And we've got so a team that is doing this, which is what we call the Radiant Cloud OS,
Hmm.
which is the lower level platform, and we are looking to bolster that team manifold. And then there is, all the applications that come at a higher level around data science and model registry and inference services, etc., which really augment that infrastructure for our end users. So we also have already quite a significant team doing these things, and yeah, we will bring certainly more of them over the coming months. That's for sure. Mm.
Makes sense. Yeah. What do you think that breakdown is between like a large scale bare metal service that you might provide to, a very large customer versus the paradigm where you've got many small customers who want to consume smaller services?
It's an interesting one. Um, I don't think that there is so much of a difference between the two because even when you're talking to one very large customer,
Mhm.
you may still have many teams operating within that organization who would have different needs and different expectations. And basically, the idea with our software platform is the ability to reprovision the infrastructure and reshape it based on the needs of the customer, right? Based on, we've been engaged with a lot of enterprise customers, and, one day they want to do lots of training. So they will be provisioning the infrastructure as a big monolithic kind of Slurm bare metal environment and just to run these batch nodes and these batch jobs. And maybe a few months later, a few weeks later, they want to run inference, right? So you want to decommission this and reprovision it in a different fashion. And our software stack is built to handle that level of flexibility. So whether it's one big customer that has multiple little teams, or whether it's multiple customers that are coming from a public cloud angle, for instance, from our perspective, it's the same software stack that will do this.
Awesome. Yeah. And earlier you talked a little bit about, monitoring and reliability and how that helps. I think that's a big discussion. For many of these big systems, they're very expensive. They're hard to run. If they're down, it can be even more expensive because now you're paying for something you can't use. Um, Maybe can you talk me through anything interesting that you guys might be doing in terms of like reliability and uptime and how vertical integration to these sites that are all under one roof might be different than others that have to bring a bunch of different partners to the table and yeah, have contracts instead of you guys are just, you know, it's just all employees under the same umbrella, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So in the Radiant Cloud OS, we've got multiple plugins. I mentioned the lower level platform, the AI application services. There is also, as you rightly point out, this whole other angle, which is kind of more vertical about observability, monitoring, logging, triggering alerts, etc. So yes, in our software, we have this capability, right, which basically will feed on data. We will capture all the data from the servers, the switches, the equipments, the racks, even the data center, and compile this into actionable alerts that we can actually operate in, and that allows us to effectively ensure that we meet like very, very high SLAs in terms of uptime and availability of the systems, which is what enterprise customers, rightly ask and deserve to get, right? So this is critical for us, and because at the end of the day, right, for secure success, you want to make sure that your customers remain happy, and the way that you make them happy is make sure that the service remain available at all time. So
Awesome. Well, this has been a great interview. Thanks for taking the time. Again, this is Jordan and Patrick. I'm signing off for Semi Analysis and Sale from GTC 2026. Thanks for watching.
thank you.